Picture this. It's 3 p.m. and you're staring at your screen, trying to focus on the quarterly review presentation that's due tomorrow. Your team's waiting on your feedback, your inbox is exploding, and that stakeholder meeting went completely off the rails this morning. And then it hits you. That overwhelming urge for sugar. The chocolate bar hidden in the bottom desk drawer that starts calling your name. The one that you swore to yourself you would buy but never touch. The one you promised yourself was just for emergencies. You use self-control and willpower and you resist for exactly 6 minutes before you're unwrapping it, telling yourself just one square. But deep down, you and I both know how this ends. 20 minutes later, you're surrounded by wrappers, feeling guilty, frustrated, and even more stressed than before. And the worst part is this isn't the first time. This cycle keeps repeating. The stress hits, the sugar cravings take over, willpower crumbles because willpower is not a strategy. But what if I told you this isn't about a lack of discipline? What if I told you that those intense sugar cravings during high stress moments aren't a character flaw? They're actually your body's biology at work. And once you understand what's really happening, you can finally break free from this cycle. I know this cycle intimately because I lived it. As a former executive who gained 140 pounds in just 5 years climbing the corporate ladder, sugar wasn't just my comfort. It was my co-pilot in everyday life. Every major deal, every team conflict, every high-stakes presentation came with a side of something sweet. I didn't just rely on food, I needed it to survive the stress. And I tried everything from keeping emergency chocolate in my desk that somehow disappeared daily, to setting rules like only sugar on the weekends, only to break them by Monday morning. I even invested hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, in nutritionists who told me to just eat more protein or eat some carrots instead, because that works. And let me tell you, that advice felt laughably inadequate during those intense moments when stress and sugar cravings collided. And then after years of struggling, I took matters into my own hands. I became a certified nutrition coach and an emotional eating coach and began working with dozens of high-achieving women who were going through the same thing I had gone through previously. And now I've helped dozens of women break this food cycle that controls their life and career. And I understand exactly how it feels to try and conquer your food struggles, especially while you're running a business, leading teams, and managing a career. And through my own transformation, my work with clients, I've discovered something remarkable. When you understand the biology behind your cravings, everything changes. So before we dive into the science behind it, be sure to hit that subscribe button because every week, if not almost every day, I share science-backed strategies for breaking free from food addiction, emotional eating, stress eating, specifically designed for busy professionals just like you who need real solutions that work in real-life, high-pressure environments. Not just theory, but practical tools that you can use in your next stressful meeting. So let's talk about what's actually happening in your body when stress hits and suddenly you're obsessing about the cookies in the break room. There's a fascinating, absolutely fascinating biological reason for this, and once you understand it, you're never gonna look at your sugar cravings the same way again. Picture this. You just got an urgent email about a project deadline being moved up by a week. Immediately, your body releases cortisol, your stress hormone. Now, here's what nobody tells you about cortisol. It's literally programming your brain to go and seek out sugar. Not because you're weak, not because you lack willpower, but because your body thinks you're about to run from a predator. It is quite literally evolution. You see, your body can't tell the difference between a looming deadline and a life-threatening situation. So when work stress hits, your body prepares for emergency action. Your blood sugar drops as your body prepares for fight or flight. Your energy demands skyrocket. Your brain starts screaming for quick fuel. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your body knows that the fastest way to get energy is through sugar. That's why you're suddenly thinking about the donuts in the break room instead of the salad that you packed for lunch. But there's more. Sugar actually triggers the release of serotonin, your feel-good hormone. So when you're stressed and feeling overwhelmed, your brain remembers that sugar can make you feel better, even if it's just for a moment. Now, this creates a powerful cycle. We start with stress. That leads to a cortisol spike. Your blood sugar drops. The serotonin hits. We get temporary relief. Then we crash. We get more cravings. And on and on and on. So now that you understand the science. Let me explain why relying on willpower is like trying to stop a tidal wave with an umbrella. It might work for a moment, but eventually you're getting swept away. And here's what happens when you try to use pure willpower. You're in that intense meeting, stress rising, and your brain is screaming for sugar because your cortisol's spiking. You tell yourself, no, be strong. And you resist for 1 hour, 2 hours. But with each passing minute, you're depleting your willpower reserves. By 3 p.m., you're not just eating one cookie, you're eating the whole dang package. Why? Because you can't fight biology with discipline alone. It's like trying to hold your breath underwater. Eventually, your body is going to win. Think about it. If willpower was the answer, wouldn't you have solved this already? You're someone who successfully leads teams, manages million-dollar projects, and navigates complex business challenges. You have plenty of willpower, but you're using it to fight against your own biology instead of working with it. What you need is not more willpower. You need a systematic approach that works with your body's stress response, not against it. One that prevents the sugar cravings from happening in the first place. This is why short-term solutions like just drink water or eat an apple feel so inadequate in those high-pressure moments. They're just band-aids on a bullet wound. And they don't understand the underlying stress-sugar connection that's driving your cravings. Now let me share the most powerful strategies for preventing those intense sugar cravings that hit during your most stressful moments. And let me be clear, these are not quick fixes or surface level solutions. These are the foundational changes that will transform your relationship with sugar. Number 1, strategic blood sugar balancing. When you're in that high stakes meeting or preparing for that critical presentation, your blood sugar naturally drops. Your body perceives stress as danger and it's trying to get ready for fight or flight. And if you haven't set yourself up properly beforehand, your body goes into emergency mode. This is when those sugar cravings become overwhelming. This is when willpower becomes useless. The solution isn't about eating more frequently or following complicated food rules. It's about understanding how to maintain stable blood sugar during high pressure moments. Your focus should be on 3 things. First, structure your meals to include protein and healthy fats. Second, time your main meals strategically around your most demanding periods. And third, choosing foods that provide sustained energy instead of quick fixes. Number 2, creating a stress-proof environment. Easier said than done, I know. But your environment will either support your success or sabotage it. And this is not about hiding food or creating more rules. It's about setting yourself up to win during those high-pressure moments. In your professional space, this means 3 things. First, removing the obvious triggers that create daily willpower battles. Second, creating a workspace that supports focus and calm. And third, having a clear strategy for navigating shared spaces in high-stress situations. For business travel, because I know many of you are on the road multiple days a week, if not a month, this means having systems in place for high-stress moments. So knowing exactly how to handle client dinners and maintaining your routines despite changing schedules. Strategy number 3, emergency response protocols. Now, when stress hits and that sugar craving feels overwhelming, you need something that works immediately, all right? Not in 20 minutes, not after your meeting, right now. Here's what actually works in those intense moments. First, interrupt the craving cycle with box breathing. 4 counts in, 4 count hold, 4 counts out. Second, change your physical state immediately, even if you're stuck at your desk. And third, use pattern interruption to break the stress-sugar connection. These aren't just coping mechanisms, they're science-backed techniques that actually change your body's stress response. Strategy 4, prevention framework. The key to lasting change isn't just handling cravings when they hit, it's preventing them from becoming overwhelming in the first place. This means 3 things. Number 1, establish daily practices that build stress resilience. Second, create a clear strategy for high pressure periods. And third, implement specific stress management techniques that work in a professional environment. Strategy number 5, sustainable success system. This final strategy is what makes these changes last because let's be honest, you've probably had success before, but it didn't stick. Here's what makes this different. First, we're building sustainable habits that work with your professional life, not against it. Second, we're creating the mindset shifts that make these changes permanent. And third, we're establishing the support systems that ensure long-term success because this is not about perfection. Perfection is not real. It's about progress. It's about creating a system that works when you're crushing it at work and when you're under intense pressure. Now, let me show you exactly how to make these strategies work in your everyday real life, because having tools is one thing, but knowing precisely when and how to use them is what actually creates lasting change. Let's start with creating your personal protocol. Think about your 3 most challenging moments with stress and sugar. Is it right before those high stakes meetings, during team conflicts, or when deadlines are looming? You need different strategies for each scenario. Here's exactly how to map this out. First, identify your peak stress periods. When does your anxiety spike? When did those sugar cravings hit hardest? Because most executives I work with face 3 critical moments. That morning anxiety when they're anticipating a challenging day, the afternoon energy crash when willpower is low, and those late night stress periods when work is still piling up. For each of those moments, you need a specific strategy. When sudden stress hits, like an unexpected crisis or a difficult stakeholder email, you're going to use your immediate intervention protocol. For anticipated stress, like a planned presentation or a quarterly review, you're going to implement your prevention strategy. And for ongoing stress periods, like major project launches, you're going to rely on your sustainable system. Now, let's talk about building new patterns. Your current responses to stress, which is reaching for sugar, is a learned behavior. So we need to replace it with new, more effective responses. And this is not about willpower. It's about creating new neural pathways. The key is to interrupt the pattern within the first 30 seconds of stress hitting. That means the moment you feel that tension rise, the second that sugar craving starts, you need to implement your chosen strategy immediately. Do not wait, okay? Don't try to push through. Immediate action is crucial. Your environment needs to support these new patterns, so set up your professional space to manage stress effectively. Have your tools ready. Know exactly which strategy you'll use in each situation. Think of it like having different weapons in your arsenal. You need to know which one to draw and when. Remember, this is not about being perfect. It's about having the right tool for each situation and knowing exactly when to use it. When that high stakes meeting hits, you're going to know what to do before, during, and after. When deadline pressure mounts, you'll have your strategies ready. When team challenges arise, you'll know exactly how to handle your stress response. So, to recap, here's what we've covered today. Number 1, understand the biology. Recognize how stress triggers sugar cravings and why willpower alone won't cut it. Number 2, strategic solutions. Use practical tools like blood sugar balancing, creating a stress-proof environment, and emergency response protocols to break the cycle. Number 3, practical implementation. Start small by identifying your stress triggers, creating your personal protocol, and integrating these strategies into your everyday life. And look, these strategies go beyond quick fixes. They address the root cause of your sugar cravings, helping you reclaim your mental energy and stay in control. So it's time to stop letting stress control your choices. If you're ready to take the next step in overcoming stress-induced sugar cravings, I've got 2 great resources for you. First off, head to the link below to download my free High Performers Guide to Food Freedom. This is packed with actionable strategies designed for a high-achieving professional just like you who's tired of food noise, the struggle with food. Grab it at the link below. Or if you're ready for a deeper dive into your relationship with food, stress, your weight, and your body, book a free executive food freedom strategy call at the link in the description. During this call, we'll create a custom action plan and see if you're a good fit for my coaching program. So schedule your call at the link below. And if this video resonated with you, you'll want to check out my other video, The Truth About Stress Eating, that no executive woman wants to talk about. And in that video, I dive deeper into why stress eating happens, what it costs you, and how to finally break free for good. Click here to watch it next. Thanks for watching. If you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button, and I can't wait to hear how you're going to take control.